Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, Chris Flaherty with the community calendar, and Joe Viscioni with sports. Thank you for joining us. A Burlington woman who was accused of murdering a baby she was babysitting in an alleged unauthorized daycare has been found guilty. Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan and Burlington Chief of Police Michael Kent announced that Pallavi Makala, 44 of Burlington, was found guilty on Monday of second-degree murder by a Middlesex Superior Court jury in connection with the March 2014 death of 6-month-old Redeema Dikane, who died while in the defendant's care. Judge Kenneth Fishman sentenced the defendant to life with the possibility of parole. As reported on BNews on March 27, 2014, the victim was left in the care of a neighbor, Pallavi Makala, who regularly provided child care for the baby. At approximately 2:40 p.m., Makala called the baby's mother to say Redeema was not responsive. Redeema's mother raced to Makala's home and saw Makala performing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on her daughter, who was limp and non-responsive. The defendant reported that the baby became unresponsive after vomiting following a feeding. The child was transported by ambulance to Leahy Hospital and then to Boston Children's Hospital, where she died 3 days later. Diagnostic tests and studies were performed, and experts say they revealed that the baby was suffering from hemorrhaging on the brain and behind the retinas. Authorities say the medical team found that the injuries were consistent with abusive head trauma. Prosecutors said they believe Makala injured the baby due to frustration at her crying and fussing. Makala testified to her innocence during the trial. She contended the baby stopped breathing after being fed homemade applesauce prepared by the victim's mother. She said she tried to do everything she could to save the baby's life. No word as to the reason why this issue took 5 years to resolve. Burlington residents can now begin watering their lawns right in time for the summer months, though with the amount of rain we've been getting, maybe they won't have to. On Monday night, the Board of Selectmen voted 5-0 to lift the full outdoor watering ban that had been in effect since December of last year after the town declared a water emergency to handle issues with maintenance and repairs on the town's water system, and also to comply with the new MWRA sign-up. During the work, the town needed to connect to the MWRA through Lexington. The Department of Environmental Protection said that to declare an emergency, the town must also impose a full outdoor watering ban. The year-round watering restrictions for irrigation systems, however, are still in place. This means that there is no watering from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and that residents and businesses can only water every other day. Watering will be on even odd days based on the property's address, meaning that if you have an even number for your mailbox, you can water on even days of the month and vice versa for odd days, odd addresses. Everyone can water on the 31st of the month. DPW Director John Sanchez said that there are some possible waivers available for people putting in new lawns. To ask for a waiver, contact the DPW. There are fines for breaking the water restrictions. On the first violation, a person will be issued a warning. On the second, a fine of $50 will be imposed, and a fine of $100 will be imposed for each subsequent violation. The Burlington Police Department had a simple message for all drivers and passengers. Buckle up. Burlington Chief of Police Michael Kent announced the department has been awarded approximately $3,000 in grant money to take part in Click It or Ticket campaign this spring. The grant was awarded to the Burlington Police Department by the Executive Office of Public and Safety Security to fund additional seatbelt enforcement patrols from Monday, May 13th through Sunday, June 2. The annual Click It or Ticket campaign is organized through the Massachusetts Highway Safety Division. An estimated 61 lives were saved in Massachusetts in 2017 by seatbelts, and 62% of people killed in motor vehicle crashes in the same year were unrestrained. Chief Kent said the department is fortunate to have this funding to support seatbelt patrols as they remind the community to buckle up. Volunteers gathered at St. Margaret's Education Center last Saturday to sort the food generously donated by Burlington residents during the annual Stamp Out Hunger food drive. BNews Director Rich Hosford was there and files this report.
Last Saturday, the Education Center at St. Margaret's Church was abuzz with activity as volunteers fueled by Pizza Work Pizza and water and cookies from Wegmans, pitched in to help date check, sort, and pack food donations. It was the afternoon after the annual mail carrier Stamp Out Hunger food drive, and the recipients of the Burlington donations, people helping people in the Burlington Food Pantry, was in need of volunteers, and they came in abundance.
I would say we have about 40 volunteers, which is probably the most we've ever had, including high school students from adopted class, and some parents have brought their younger children. So it's great to see elementary school and middle school children starting to get involved in their volunteering.
We've had a great response. I'm overwhelmed with the number of people who have showed up to help us sort. It's been fantastic. We've got a number of youth here. We've got people from all over the Burlington community, and it's fantastic.
The number of donations was also good this year, perhaps in part because of the bags that were given to residents before the drive.
This year, things are looking really great. We had purchased the yellow bags that you might have seen in your mailbox, and I think that they are a much more visible reminder for people that it's coming up. We found in the past that nobody sees the little postcards. So with the bags this year, we're getting a much greater response than we did last year.
The Stamp Out Hunger food drive comes at a pivotal time for food pantries. The Burlington Food Pantry serves between 300 and 400 people a month, and donations are not as high in the spring and summer as during the holiday season.
Absolutely. People need food all year round. And by far the majority of our donations come in response to the holidays. So the postal drive here in May is a great way for us to restock the shelves after the holidays and kind of carry us over. We also have a vacation lunch program that we run when the kids are out of school. And so we have special needs for that during the summer.
Finally, one volunteer said he was happy to see so many people, especially so many youngsters, lending a hand.
Really great and heartwarming to see all the food that's been given and the amount of volunteers we have in there just sorting the food. And it's really nice to see the community all pitch in and help out for a great cause. Really cool to see the young people pitching in and learning the importance of helping out people who are less fortunate.
From St. Margaret's Church, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
Burlington Town Meeting approved the FY 2020 budget after a somewhat lengthy discussion during the first night of the annual May Town Meeting on Monday. In total, the budget is roughly $141 million and came out to be 3.9% rise over the FY 19 budget. This was slightly over the goal laid out at the beginning of the process of a 3.5% increase. The extra funds that pushed the budget over the goal were attributed to a new school busing contract that was almost a 40% increase over the last one. Town Administrator Paul Sagarino said that the budget is far below the state's legal limit under Proposition 2.5. He said the town could have proposed spending an additional $11 million without an override vote. The biggest discussion, again, centered around the school department's budget of $65.7 million. Specifically, there were questions about the bus contract, especially around the fact that the school only received one bid during the process. Some members said the lack of competitive bids was a problem that should be addressed. Superintendent Conti said the department solicited more bids but only received the one. He further said in the last couple of years there have been 30 new transportation contracts made with school departments in the state, and that Burlington's, while higher than the last 5-year contract, was the third lowest in the state, and he thought it was competitive. In the Burlington Food Pantry's continuing pursuit to sustain a community-wide effort to help meet the basic needs of residents, the organization has obtained a part of the Burlington Community Garden. BNews reporter Tad Stefanik has this report.
Burlington's People Helping People is growing volunteerism for those in need from the ground up. Entering its 5th growing season, a portion of the Burlington Community Garden has been acquired by the Burlington Food Pantry.
So the community garden is actually a garden complex with 3 gardens. There is the school garden for Francis Wyman School. There is the leased plots, which you can acquire through the rec department. And then there's the Victory Garden, which is a volunteer garden that was started back in 2014, and everything that is grown and harvested from the garden was donated to People Helping People to the food pantry. And so it was natural for us to get involved since, we are the full beneficiaries of everything coming out of the garden. And so this is just a natural progression.
Helping to kick off this year's crop were corporate volunteers from Presidio and Cisco Systems.
We wanted to give back to the local community and make sure that we are, giving back to those who are in need. And so we thought that being here today at the Victory Gardens and helping support the local Burlington food pantry would be a great way to build team building and give back with some camaraderie involved in it as well.
All right, perfect.
Working with the local community to help out where we can. We try to do different charitable organizations. Today we're here in Burlington. It's a great chance for the team to give back. Cisco is very supportive of this. It's a culture we embrace, globally.
We work with a number of companies in the local area, so we try to space out corporate groups every few weeks, so kind of do the heavy lifting coming in. They often come in with 15, 20, 30 people, and then we have our regular volunteers who will do the day-to-day maintenance, the watering, the harvesting.
Those with a green thumb or not are welcome to cultivate at the Burlington Community Garden.
So with the lease plots, if you're interested in leasing a plot for growing vegetables for yourself, you would call up the rec department. If you want to get involved with the volunteer garden, which like the name says, we are volunteers that come out here and work the garden, give us a call at the food pantry and we will put you in connection with the volunteer coordinator for the garden.
Be a part of Burlington's bounty and help make Burlington's soil more fruitful.
Definitely, if you like gardening, give us a call because we need all the help we can get.
From the Burlington Community Garden, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak.
All right, good job.
On Wednesday evening, Burlington Town Meeting finished passing the 29 capital projects that were included in the 2019 warrant. The projects totaled just under $3 million, with roughly half coming from town departments and half from the school district. Most capital projects with little discussion or questions by town meeting members were passed. The one capital project that did spark some lengthy discussion was a proposal for the schools to spend $105,000 for emergency buttons and walkie-talkies to connect with police during emergencies. Town Meeting and Capital Budget Committee member Ernest Zabalotny said that the committee, after reviewing the request, voted 2 in favor and 5 against. He said those opposed pointed to the ubiquitous presence of cell phones that they said would work as well or better than radios. Burlington Youth Services Detective Thomas Fournier said the request had 2 parts. The first is for additional emergency buttons to be placed in all of the town schools. These buttons, he explained, can be used during an active threat and automatically alert police to the situation and send a message of school's public address system instigating a lockdown. These buttons will be placed in areas not accessible to students and at strategic points throughout the schools, so no matter where the threat is in the building, there will be a faculty member in the area with access to a button. The second part of the request was for walkie-talkie radios that connect both people within a school, people in different schools, and faculty members with police. Lieutenant Daniel Hannafin, who is also town meeting member, addressed the radio versus cell phone argument. He said that cell phones rely on fine motor skills that go out the window in times of stress, like a person with a weapon attacking a school or you. The walkie-talkies, on the other hand, use gross motor skills that require a push of a big button to operate. The difference in speed between the two, he said, can mean the difference between life and death. Town meeting voted nearly unanimously to approve the capital project. Over at Marshall Simons Middle School, a group of faculty members have pooled their musical talents together to form a band called the G-Block Drifters. Recently, they have been livening up the halls of the school with their block rocking beats. For a look behind the music, we go now to BNews reporter Chris Flaherty, who sat down with the band to learn how they came together and the impact they have had on Marshall Simons community.
Recently, the halls of Marshall Simons Middle School have been rockin' and rollin' with the musical stylings of the faculty band, the G-Block Drifters. The band came together when former principal Noreen Abadi suggested the teachers perform a song for the school's annual vaudeville show.
And then fast forward to more recently, we were asked by the new administration if we wanted to play in the hallway when the kids got off the bus. And every once in a while, just kind of add some positive flair in the morning. And so pretty much the same group of teachers, we came together and we came up with the name the G-Block Drifters. I always liked the theater aspect and the showmanship of putting on a performance, and so to be, being a big fan of music and having, some teachers who are actually my friends also be into the same thing. It's kind of fun. It's a fun excuse to kind of get together with a couple friends from work and do something for the kids.
The G Block Drifters perform roughly once a month as students arrive in the morning, mostly sticking to a blues style of music and playing a wide variety of covers, with a new theme each month, such as holiday songs for December or Irish songs for St. Patrick's Day in March. I spoke with the band during one of their after-school jam sessions on what they enjoy most about sharing the gift of beautiful music with Marshall Simons.
For me, the biggest thrill is just being when the kids walk down the hallway and they see us on a Friday morning, just seeing their faces light up, and just seeing us out of the context of a class. I think they think that we probably all sleep here, and it's nice that they see us, that we can do other things, that, oh, that guy plays the violin. Oh, Miss Shower is really good at that violin, and she also plays the bass, and oh, Mr. Marino plays the harmonica. I think that's been the biggest thrill for me.
You know, a lot of the time kids will get to school in the morning just looking totally like, you know, especially on a Friday morning, like they're just ready to crawl right back in bed, and it's nice to give them something fun to look forward to on a Friday morning.
I play a lot of instruments myself, which is we try to switch it up a bit. So I was looking for a way to get involved, and like these two said, it's nice because they only ever see me in the foreign language classroom, to see me else doing, playing music. They think, oh, well, maybe these teachers do have outside lives and hobbies.
At the end of the day, for the G Block Drifters, it's not about the music, it's about the people.
It's important for teachers or anyone in their workplace to get involved with the community in a way where you're adding positivity in any way. You don't have to like the music the G Block Drifters are playing, but when you walk in the hallway and you see us all smiling at 7:15 in the morning, you can't help but to kind of get infected by that a little bit, and hopefully it carries on throughout the day. And maybe in a year or two, when the kids come up to my classroom, I'll have some sort of rapport with them, and the same with the other teachers too.
With your look behind the music, this has been Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
How cool is that? There will be a public info session on an upcoming affordable housing lottery for the Reserve at Burlington. The Reserve is a luxury rental apartment community located at 20 Corporate Drive. In total, 68 of the 270 units will be affordable housing that will be doled out in a lottery starting on July 17th. This project was approved as a friendly 40B agreement between the town and the developer as a way of Burlington keeping its share of affordable housing over the 10% threshold mandated by the state. The public information session about the apartments and the lottery will be this Wednesday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. in the main hearing room at Town Hall. We go now to BNews Weatherman. Oh no, we don't. We go to the Burlington School District Science Center, which held the first Junior Lego League Robotics Expo at BHS on Saturday, April 27th, giving local students a chance to learn about and interact with robots. BNews reporter John Vias went to check it out and filed this report.
Out of many things that have inspired the imaginations of kids, robots and Legos are no exception. The first annual LEGO League Junior Expo was constructed in the BHS cafeteria on Saturday, April 27th, where kids from all over the Burlington School District got a chance to show off their creative visions, fascinating people of all ages. The event was hosted by Burlington science specialist Sean Musselman, who says the kids' interest in Legos goes hand in hand with his love for science.
This idea is largely put together from knowing that there's an appetite for elementary robotics and Legos in our elementary schools, and the organization First has been putting this on for 2 years now, and I saw it, I said, this is a great program for our schools, and we invested, and it's been a great experience for our kids.
Of course, the event wouldn't have come to be without the combined effort of great teachers and many talented students, along with hours of hard work and the right materials.
On the kids' part, they've gone through 12 one-hour sessions pretty much since January, and culminating to today's Expo event, which was about 2 hours long. There was a lot of planning that went into it in the fall and getting our great teacher volunteers and all of the materials together, but ultimately, the kids have put in anywhere between 12 and 15 hours.
Mr. Musselman hopes to continue the LEGO League Junior Expo as an annual event.
Clearly the community wants it. I think everyone had a great time today. I know our teachers and students have had a great time, and we're definitely hoping to host this again next year.
He also has a summer program coming up for elementary school aged children.
We do have summer programs, summer enrichment programs around these Lego robotics. There are two programs. One is for incoming second and third graders, and the other is for incoming fourth, fifth, and sixth graders. The second and third one is a bit of a reboot, expanded version of this Mission Moon program. The fourth, fifth, and sixth is the program that our middle school club competes and goes through in the fall. So should be a really great opportunity no matter what age your child is.
From the BHS cafeteria, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
And also, I really want to thank in this group.
Isaac Asimov would be proud. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our Weather Center for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Chris Flaherty to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. And I know the first thing you're probably thinking is, oh no, he's going to tell us it's going to be another cold, rainy week coming up. Well, I have some pleasant news for you. It looks like our weather pattern is finally going to be turning around as we head into the middle of May and actually almost getting towards Memorial Day. I know it's hard to think that we're that far along, but we certainly are. Now, starting at our period here on Friday, we are going to be kind of in the same pattern that we've been in for the past couple of months, it seems. We're going to be starting out with temperatures again below normal, but this time at least not in the 40s and 50s. Looks like we're going to see temperatures in the mid-60s with a little bit of rain coming in here on Friday. And again, our nighttime lows, if you're going to be out and about and around in the Burlington area, about average for this time of the year, so nothing too cold. And we're going to be, unfortunately, probably far away from this record high in the low 90s that we've seen here at this time of May. But again, we're going to be far away from this record cold as well, so that's definitely a good sign. As we get towards the end of the period, look at this, heading in towards the Memorial Day weekend time frame. Our average highs should be around 70 by this time of the year, and it looks like we're going to be exceeding that as we head in towards the end of the period. And again, look at this. As you notice, starting out on Friday, our sunsets are now after 8 o'clock, so we have tons of nice sunshine out there to get out and enjoy the weather as we head towards the end of spring. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is saying for our temperature and precip coming up for the next 7 days. And this is an outlook for what we're expecting for precipitation for the next 6 to 10 days. And look at this finally up here in the Burlington area. Looks like in the most of southern New England, looks like we're getting into the idea of maybe having average precipitation and actually kind of close to maybe a little bit below average, which we actually need to catch up with all of this wet weather that we've been having. As we go ahead, let's take a look at what we're expecting for our average highs coming up for the next week or week and a half or so. And this is something that's really going to look nice now here. Now, they say that it looks like we're kind of on the edge of maybe warmer than average and maybe average temperatures. I think we're going to be closer to above average temperatures and seeing a chance of that. So that's something to really look forward to as we go on for the next 7 to 10 days. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at those great temps and weather coming up for the next 7 days. Now, looking at this, when we put the models together earlier in the week, looked like there was going to be a little bit more in the way of rain, but actually looks like we're going to have to scale this back, especially when we get towards Sunday. Doesn't look like we're going to have quite as much in the way of wet weather. Again, though, starting out on Friday, looks like we're going to have that chance of spotty showers, maybe some drizzle early in the morning, but temperatures in the mid-60s, so about where they should be this time of the year. But look at this on Saturday. Looks like we're going to break out the sunshine, and this 72 degrees, I think here in the Burlington area, that's going to be a little bit cool. I wouldn't be surprised if we see temperatures up in the 75 to 78 maybe degree range on Saturday. And as we get into Sunday, again, looks like these chances of showers are going to be a little bit less than we originally thought, and temperatures, again, around 70. Now, as we get into Monday and Tuesday, we're going to have that chance of a little bit of unsettled weather, and not too much like what we've been seeing the past couple of months, but nothing heavy and cold like we've been seeing. Temperatures, again, staying in the mid-60s with that little bit of wet weather. Now, as we get into Wednesday, this is where we're going to see sort of a transition day between the cooler weather and the warmer weather coming our way. We're going to see partly sunny skies on Wednesday. Looks like the rain chances are going to be gone. Temperatures, again, in the upper 60s to around 70, but look at this on Thursday as we get into the tail end of the week. mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies, but look at this. I'm expecting to see temperatures between 75 and 80 by the time we get towards Thursday, and that looks like, looking even further ahead, that's going to extend into our Memorial Day weekend. So folks, there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel here in the Burlington area in terms of the weather. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hello, this is Chris Flaherty with your community calendar. 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. On Friday, May 24th at 6:30, BCAT will be having their monthly cinema series event. This month, we'll be presenting Aladdin, the 1992 animated classic from Walt Disney Pictures. Everyone is welcome and pre-registration is required. For more information and to register, visit bcattv.org or call 781-273-5922. Come show your support for cancer research. On Sunday, May 26th from 1 to 4 p.m., Relay for Life of Burlington will be having a car wash at the American Legion on 162 Wynn Street. Everyone is welcome. All proceeds will go to the American Cancer Society. Explore a wide variety of items that you could win in a raffle. Through May 30th, the Burlington Public Library will be having their annual May Basket Raffle. You can purchase 5 tickets for only $5. For a list of what the library will be raffling off, visit burlington.org, and for more information, call 781-270-1690. This has been Chris Flaherty with your community calendar.
The spring sports season is at about the halfway mark. For the latest Red Devil action, we go now to BNews sports reporter Joe Viscioni for this week's sports report.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Viscioni for your weekly sports report. The Red Devils are still battling hard as they hit the mid-season stretch. The boys baseball team faced off against the Wilmington Wildcats on Wednesday afternoon at Francis Wyman Elementary School. The game was very close, but in the end, the Red Devils couldn't get the job done after 10 innings. The final score was 6-5 Wilmington. The boys will still travel to Stoneham to take on the Spartans on Friday afternoon. The Lady Devils softball team had a game against the Wilmington Wildcats on Wednesday afternoon at Marvin Field. Burlington scored 2 home runs from juniors Chloe McGonigal and Fran Rubino. There was also a double play made by junior Lindsay Baxter. After the win over Wilmington, the Lady Devils are officially tournament bound. The girls will have another regular season game on the road in Stoneham on Friday. Boys lacrosse faced off against the Stoneham Spartans on Tuesday afternoon. We have some highlights, so let's go check them out now.
The weather felt more like October than May down at Varsity Field on Tuesday afternoon, where the Burlington Red Devils lacrosse team took on the Stoneham Spartans. In the first half, the Red Devils scored a whopping 11 points before halftime, while the Spartans managed to get only 2 points on the board. During the second half, Burlington relaxed their offense and played more on the defensive side of things. However, the Red Devils still managed to get 3 additional points. Stoneham added 2 additional points. In the end, Burlington wins it 14-4. The boys will head to Watertown to take on the Red Raiders on Friday afternoon at 4:30 p.m.
The Lady Devils lacrosse team had a home game on Tuesday afternoon against the Stoneham Spartans as well at the Marshall Simons Middle School Brush Field. Burlington took home the victory against the Spartans 12-10. The girls will be traveling to Colley Stadium to take on the Lowell Red Raiders on Thursday afternoon at 7 p.m. Then the girls will have another game the following day at home against the Watertown Red Raiders on Friday. The boys track team had a fantastic 2019 spring season. The team went undefeated this season, which is a very big accomplishment. BNews sports reporter Robert Paris caught up with senior Rashad Prakash, who has been leading the charge for BHS over the past 4 years.
For the past couple of years, the Red Devils track team has been a mini dynasty, winning 3 league championships, 2 state titles, and multiple state relay titles. Of all the players on the team, there is one well-known athlete that has stood out, and that is senior Rashad Prakash.
When I was younger as a kid, playing like a bunch of other sports like soccer and basketball, I was always one of the faster kids there, so I guess I always loved to run. And then the Burlington Recreation Program, they run sort of a youth track program, so I think in 4th grade, that's when I started to do it. And that was, just for fun, nothing serious. It really just got like me a basic intro into the sport, and I really loved that. So I continued to play soccer my freshman year, but then come winter of my freshman year, I thought basketball was fun, but let me give track a try. And so I joined, knowing like little to nothing about the sport, just really inexperienced, but obviously Coach Carr and the seniors and the upperclassmen on that team taught me a lot, and I just worked hard and continued to improve to get where I am today.
Prakash has broken a number of records for Burlington and has been the first person to surpass 2014 BHS graduate Paul Hogan.
5 years ago, I coached a kid called Paul Hogan who went to UMass Lowell on a track scholarship. And Paul was a national champion, and a colleague of mine at the time said, you'll probably never coach another runner that good again in your career. And I was like, you're right, probably not. And then 5 years later, I have Rashab, who's breaking Paul's records, which I never expected. It's been a very awesome surprise.
As Rashab's senior year comes to a close, he will never forget the accomplishments he has made for his team, his coach, and his school.
I think it would be an understatement to say that Coach Carr has been one of the biggest influences in my life. He's obviously taught me the value of hard work, which is obviously translated into so much, not only in track success, but also in school and as a member of my community. We've been a very, very successful team these past 4 years, and our accomplishments speak for themselves. And one thing that Coach Carr always emphasizes is the value of senior leadership. It's really taught me how to be a mentor to the younger members of our team, and just great communication, and obviously just being a successful team is really, really fun. Winning is awesome.
Rashab was like having sort of an assistant coach on the team. He knew other athletes, knew other teams, knew the point of workouts, could often even predict what my workout was going to be because he knew where we were in the schedule. So that will be something I'll miss, and hopefully someone else will step in and fill that role after he's gone.
Prakash's running days are not over yet. He will be traveling to New York this fall.
Next year I'll be running cross country and track and field at Cornell University in Ithaca, so very, very excited for that. When I started, getting pretty good at the sport, I thought that hey, this is definitely something I want to continue at the collegiate level. So to be able to continue my passion at the highest level is definitely something I'm very, very excited about.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
In other track news, the boys and girls teams will be hosting the Middlesex League Pole Vault Championships on Thursday afternoon at Varsity Field. This will be the first time hosting since 2012. The tennis teams both secured victories over their match made-up against Wilmington on Wednesday afternoon. The boys won their game 4-1, while the girls beat the Wildcats 3-2. The boys improved to 7-6 on the season, while the girls moved to 9-5, and they are now qualified for the state tournament. Single wins include senior Madison Metzdorf, juniors Niti Sariam, Neha Ponke, sophomore Casey Pustuzzi, and freshman Annabelle Wiley. Both teams will be playing the Stoneham Spartans on Friday afternoon, and the boys will be playing at Stoneham while the girls will be at Rohannes Park. That is all for your weekly sports report. Once again, I've been Joe Viscioni, and back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo proves the light side and the dark side of the Force can come together to celebrate Star Wars. It comes from BCAT's own John Vias and shows 3 Star Wars fans dressed as their favorite characters on the town common during the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department's May the 4th celebration. In the photo is his aunt, Tricia Avery, dressed as Princess Leia, and his 2 cousins, Kayleen as Rey from planet Jakku, and Adam dressed as the 4-armed, 4-lightsaber-wielding General Grievous. Thank you for the photo, John. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see out around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members, friends, and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share, email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, Joe Viscioni with sports, and we're going to leave you with a montage of Burlington's prom put together by our own Robert Paris. Thank you. Good evening.